Hey everyone, I'm going to take a look at the new goalkeeper directing defense goalkeepers on eFootball. I can't get my head around how weird that name is, but yeah, that's the name of the new Showtime skill. Basically, it means if your goalkeeper's got that skill, then the defenders in front of him who are positioned deep are going to perform a bit better or something like that, along those lines. I don't know, a load of nonsense. But yeah, we've got a free goalkeeper to choose, and there's 4 to choose from. Everyone's asking, who do I choose? I don't know because I've not looked at them yet, but I'm going to look at them now. So, as always, I have a timestamp in the descriptions. I want to hear about a particular goalkeeper, click at their description, and there'll be a link to take you straight to them. We've got 4 to look at. Let's start with the Indonesian fella. So, we'll start with Maarten Paes. I've probably said that a bit wrong. We've got an Indonesian keeper. Not to be harsh, but I'm guessing they've only put him in here because they've got their new partnership with Indonesia. He's got a face guy. He's a defensive goalie. He does not have a club affiliation. Strange. I googled him and he plays in the MLS. He's got a live update as well, but no club affiliation. I don't know if this is one of these AFC Asian Cup cards where they take away their club affiliation, even though they usually do have a club affiliation, like on their GP card or something. It's a weird one, but yeah, he's got a live update from somewhere, but you can't use him in any league challenges, which sucks. Albeit there's no MLS challenge anyway. But yeah, I guess if you're rocking Indonesia squad, could be a good one for you. I imagine a lot of Indonesian players will be very tempted to get this guy. But yeah, only standard form. He's got the goalkeeping booster. And he's got high punt and directing defense, of course. So yeah, let's just train him up because we need to know how good he actually is. So over to eFootball Hub. And let's get him all maxed out. So he's pretty solid looking. One interesting thing, we've had a couple of versions of this guy in Indonesia packs not too long ago. It looks like he's actually got less reach than those two. Certainly at level 1, his reach doesn't look great compared to the 2 highlight cards, but obviously maxed out, he's way better overall. Goes to 99 fully boosted. The other 3 will go to 100. They're all pretty similar, but this guy's just slightly behind the other 3. Reach is a bit of a shame. He's 6'3", and his arm coverage isn't bad at 172, but the reach is a bit of an issue. Even though he's not short and his arms aren't short, he's not the tallest goalie. I mean, he's a decent height for a goalie, to be fair, but his arms aren't overly long, so reach is a bit of a concern. And if you look at the other goalie attributes, yes, they're all round about where you need to be, 90 plus, but there aren't many points we can spare to really get that reach up a bit, which is a bit of a shame. We take the 4 off aerial and go down the player of the week route. We can't take anything off reflexes, really. And then it's just awareness. Can you take 1 off there, 2 off there? You can take a couple off there, and then just shove them straight onto reach. Oh, it goes up to 89. Nice. So then I guess you could go to the goalkeeper boosters. There are 2 goalie boosters. One is goalkeeping. Basically with the goalkeeping, I'll turn the main booster off so you can see this. So the goalkeeping booster does the first 4 attributes and you miss out on reach. And then the saving one basically goes for all of them except catching. So with the 2 goalkeeper boosters, one of them you miss out on reach, the other one you miss out on catching. Reach is what we need to boost a bit with this guy. So we'll go with saving. I'll put the main booster back on. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what I'd do. Simple as that. We've got 1 point left. Happy days. I'll stick it on passing because his distribution is pretty horrible. Something to keep in mind maybe. So yeah, there you go. Obviously a very solid goalie. It's early days to be saying how well the new goalkeeper skill works because no one's been able to get on his goalies yet. I think, as far as I'm aware, you can do most of the objectives to get your selection contract, but not quite all of them. So we've got to wait till next Thursday, I guess. But yeah, I'm sure it'll make some amount of difference, obviously, but how much of a difference it makes, no one knows. But it's a solid looking goalie. The distribution's horrible. He's only got high punt. He might, a lot of people prefer low punt, but the goalie attributes are pretty solid. He's got very good parrying. That's a really good parrying. Not many goalkeepers have parrying that good, but the rest of the goalie attributes, yeah, certainly not bad. But if you're looking at a Showtime keeper, I don't know. I imagine when we look at these other goalkeepers in the pack in a moment, we're probably going to find them slightly better than this on more appealing maybes. But not to sound harsh, but a lot of goalies in Player of the Week in recent months have been as good as that on most of the attributes. Maybe not all of them, because like I say, that parrying is ridiculously good. But yeah, not to sound negative though. He does look like a very solid goalkeeper. But the fact you can't use him in a league challenge, and like I say, he all the other goalies go slightly higher rate. Actually, he's gone up to 100 there. Oh, that's because of the booster, isn't it? There you go, yeah. So, yeah, like I say, when you max them out on auto allocation, this guy goes to 99 maxed out, the others go to 100, so the others are going to be slightly better. But, yeah, it's a solid goalie. Like I say, though, no league challenge. I think those are going to probably be a bit more appealing, but we'll find out in a moment. So let's have a look at the other guys in this pack. So next is Jordan Pickford, Everton goalkeeper. He's an attacking goalkeeper, only standard form. we've got a load of skills here. So we've got direct and defense, of course, got fighting spirit, and we've got low punt, long throw, penalty saver. It's just about every goalie skill apart from high punt, I guess. But yeah, great selection of skills there on Pickford. Let's train him up, let's see how good he is. Where are we? eFootball Hub. There we are. So how good is this Pickford card? Pretty good. Like I say, he goes to 100 on auto allocation. We'll immediately take those points off aerial. Let's just beef him up a bit because you can do a bit more reach. That's one thing with Pickford, not to just do what Newcastle fans do, which is to give him a lot of grief all the time for having short arms. But he does have short arms. So 168 centimeters is not the best arm coverage, and his reach is sub 90, fully boosted up. So I'm going to immediately put those points from jumping onto reach. The goalkeeper awareness is outstanding at 97. We can spare some points from there. I think it's worth taking points off there, getting even more reach on him. I would probably leave the reach there. I'd like to go more further into the 90s there, but we're up to 12 on goalkeeper 2 there. The next 4 increases are going to be 4 points each. I don't think it's worth it. We only get 2 more on there, but we could get 3 on one of the other ones. I'm going to go 2 on there, 1 on goalkeeper 1. 1 point left goes in passing, then we get his lofted pass up to the 60 mark, which is amazing. I mean, it's not. But to be fair, as much as I hate Pickford, I think he deserves more for his lofted pass. You know, he's a bit inconsistent with his distribution, but it is pretty good on the whole. I think he deserves a bit better than that. But yeah, I think that levels him out a bit. Yes, we've lost a bit off the awareness, but on the whole, looking pretty solid. And again, with the booster, 6'1", he's not got particularly long arms. It's obvious what you're going to do with the boost. You're going to go for the saving one because that boosts his reach a bit. Yeah, that's looking pretty nice. You've got a pretty tidy looking goalkeeper on our hands here. So obviously we've taken some points off jumping, but we know from player of the week that doesn't matter on a goalkeeper. Got a great selection of skills there. And the attributes, the awareness is fantastic. Likewise, the parrying and the reflexes. The catching is a bit lower than the rest, but it's still at 90. And then reaches, we boosted that up to 92 with the way we trained him, and obviously with the second booster and in that empty booster slot, whatever you call it. So that should help compensate a bit for his short arms. And yeah, this is a good goalie card. One thing I will say with this Pickford card, if you're looking for reasons to pick one goalie out the rest, because these goalies are all fairly similar. Certainly the outside of the Indonesian guy, Maarten Paes, the other 3 very similar in terms of their overall ability. One thing I would say for Pickford is you can use him in the English League Challenge, because even though you can't see the badge there, he obviously plays for Everton. So this is a card you can use in the English League Challenge, and for most of us, certainly in Europe, we do get that challenge quite often. So that's one thing that might sway you, and he does have a good selection of skills as well. So yeah, it's a good goalie card. Any goalie with short arms, there is a concern there. It concerns some people more than others. I do think that's something that puts me off a little bit. If I've got 2 goalies and one's got slightly better stats, but the other one's got much longer arms and better coverage, physical profile, whatever you want to call it, then I might, often I'll sway towards them. But yeah, outside of the arms, I think that's the only real negative with Pickford. And he's got some very good stats. He's got a good selection of goalie skills, and you can use him in the English League Challenge. So yeah, it could be a very appealing option, I think, for a lot of people, this one. And next we have Dominik Livaković from Fenerbahce. So got a face scan. He's a defensive goalkeeper, about 6'1", 6'2", unwavering form. This one, some of us will be able to use in the League Challenge, the rest of us won't. If you're in Turkey, obviously you'll still get to do the Turkish League Challenge, so that might make this card very appealing. I don't know if people in any other country get the Turkish League Challenge. I imagine maybe some countries, but I'm in the UK and I don't, so most of us don't. But yeah, if you do get to do the Turkish League Challenge, this might be a very appealing one. High punt, long throw, penalty saver, of course, directing defense. He did once have low punt on a previous Showtime card. It's an interesting one. Let's just jump up to eFootball Hub before we go into other versions of him. So where is eFootball Hub? It's there. So yeah, getting all maxed out and boosted. As you can see, looking pretty good. But we did have one previous Showtime version of Livaković. It did have the low punt skill, but also arguably a bit better than this card. If you look at the overall rating when you fully boost that card up on auto allocation with the maximum squad boost, because it's one of those total package ones, you need a full Turkish League squad to get the maximum boost. But when you do get the maximum boost on his previous Showtime card, he goes to 103, so he's 3 higher. But most of that boost comes from not non-goalkeeping as such, but stats outside of the core goalkeeping attributes. So jumping, physical contact, passing, and pretty much everything else is a few higher. So that's where a lot of his boost comes from. Overall, not a massive difference. This new one here has more parrying but that previous Showtime has more reflexes. So there's pros and cons to both. If you've got that previous version of him and you rock a Turkish League squad, you might consider you don't really need this one. Obviously, this one's got your Showtime skill, you can't see here, but you got the directing defense thing, whatever that does, improving your defenders and stuff. So that might sway you towards this one, but on auto allocation at least, the reflexes aren't as great on this one. So yeah, there are a few things to be said for his previous Showtime card, but like I say, there's more to it than meets the eye. It's not necessarily 3 higher overall, because that +3 comes from a lot of attributes, most of which aren't really important for a goalkeeper. But yeah, you do have that previous Showtime version of Livaković to take into consideration. But this one is solid. Again, a bit of an issue with the arm coverage, 169. I don't think there's an exact threshold with the arm coverage, but certainly if it's below 170, that's a big concern. The shortest arms you tend to get on goalies are around sort of high 60s, so that's not good, similar to Pickford. But let's just move some points around. We've got 1 on passing, 4 on aerial, take all of those. It's the reflexes with this guy, it's an issue. That's a really important attribute in a goalie. Where are we there? We can get up to 90 straight away. Can we nick some elsewhere? It'd be a shame to take any off reach because he's not got the longest arms, but that's where we've got most of an excess. I think it's a tough one. If you're not too bothered about the arms, I think, to be honest, I would maybe suggest just going with that. But if you do think the arms are a little bit on the short side, you could maybe do that. Yeah, I'd be tempted, I think, to do that. I think that's where I would end up. Those last two could go on passing, I guess. I guess it's lofted to 60. Fantastic. Yeah, I think I'd personally do that. So yeah, like I mentioned a couple of times already, outside of the Indonesian guy, the other 3 are very, very similar overall. 1 or 2 stats will be higher or lower. They'll be shuffled around a bit, but we're looking at a very similar goalkeeper in terms of overall ability to Pickford, really. The catching is a little bit lacking, but everything else is in the early 90s there. I almost forgot we've got another booster as well. So again, with short arms, it's an obvious one for me. I'm going to boost the one that includes reach. It's a shame we miss out on the one attribute where he is actually lacking with catching, but I think the reach is more important. The most important thing is to get behind the ball and make a save in the first place, and then you can worry about catching it and keeping on a bit after that. If you're not going to save it in the first place, doesn't matter how good you are at catching it. So yeah, I think that's how I train him. You see 93, 93, 93, 94. Apart from that catching, you've got some very good goalkeeping attributes there. You might want to give him a low punt. The jumping is still pretty good, even though we've taken the points off. Yeah, he's a solid goalie. I think, honestly, I keep saying it. I'll say it again as we continue and finish up with Diogo Costa in a second. But the three better goalies in this pack are very, very similar. I think the league challenges are probably the one thing that's going to sway most people in terms of who they select. So if you don't get to do the Turkish League Challenge anymore, like me, then this guy might not offer a great deal of value to you. But if you do get to do that Turkish League Challenge, he could be a really viable option. It could be a very appealing one. It might be him versus Pickford. But let's also look at the last guy in this pack, because we do have Diogo Costa to look at as well. So let's move on and have a look at him. So Diogo Costa, the one downside with this guy is the lack of a league challenge. There's no Portuguese league challenge, so you're either going to use this guy in your main squad for divisions and so on, or you're going to use him in your Portugal squad. But there's no league challenge you can use him in, which is a bit of a shame. But I've got a face cam, we've got an attacking goalkeeper, only standard form. We have all the saving booster, great. We've got low punt, high punt, 20 save with directing defense, captaincy. Okay, captaincy, nice. So not really lacking much. What was it Pickford had that he doesn't have? Is it fighting spirit maybe? I think it might have been another one as well. Oh, long throw. He's not got long throw. Okay, but we've got some good skills there. Low punt is the most popular skill in the goalkeeper. I think that's fair to say. But yeah, let's jump over to eFootball Hub. Let's train Diogo up. Let's see how good he is. And he is about as good as Livaković and Pickford. Another good goalie. 100 on auto allocation, fully boosted again. Lofted pass going past 70, so he's got the best lofted pass so far. Just about. And yeah, another solid goalie. But let's just take some points. In fact, before I do that, just to compare to other versions, there was one other version of Diogo Costa that's worth mentioning. With most of these cards, that they're clearly the best version. Obviously, Livaković, there was a previous Showtime, but with Diogo Costa, it's not a previous Showtime, but there's a previous Player of the Week version of Diogo Costa from an international week playing for Portugal with a booster, and it was a really, really nice card. If that Player of the Week card has A form, he gets the maximum boost, fully boosted. He's got the same overall rating, but you've got to remember, I always say it with goalkeepers, the Player of the Week goalkeepers, it's the jumping. They nerf the jumping on Player of the Week goalkeepers, and then they increase the core goalkeeping attributes. So that Player of the Week version of Diogo Costa, if you look at the core goalkeeping attributes on A form, is actually better than this card. And when he's not got the A form boost, he's on the whole, obviously the stats are shuffled around a little bit as you expect from player of the week cards, but when he's not on A form, he's pretty similar on the whole. So if you've got that player of the week version of Diogo Costa, outside of the Showtime skill, you might feel that you've already got a better card and you don't need this one. That's something to keep in mind if you've got that player of the week card. Like I say, there is obviously a Showtime skill on this card, and a Showtime skill is obviously a difference maker to some extent, but yeah, like I say, in terms of the attributes, that player of the week version of Diogo Costa, if you've got that one, you might want to just stick with that one. It's up to you. But like I say, it does it like in some scenarios outside the Showtime skill, potentially a better goalkeeper card than this one. But outside of that, this is looking good. Let's just nick the passing and aerial points again. Arm coverage is not so bad this time. He's not got particularly long arms, but we're in the 170s at least. So he's got a few centimetres over Livaković and Pickford. Where we boost him up? So the catching again, just like when I look at Livaković just now, the catching is not great. Do we boost that? Because if you boost that, you're going with catching and reflexes, but I'd like a bit more reach on him because he's, what is he, 6'1". His arm coverage is all right, but not amazing. I would like a bit more reach on him. It's a tough one. I think I'm just going to sacrifice the catching again, but then we go up to 12 there. Yeah, that's all we can do, isn't it? I think I'd probably just do that. I don't think I'd do much more. You could nick one off goalkeeper one, maybe. But then you're just going on, yeah, I don't know. I think I'll just do that. I don't think it's worth doing a great deal more. Last 2 points, stick one passing. He's definitely got the best distribution of any of these goalies. Not a massive difference, but I do like some, my goalkeepers to be able to pass the ball at least reasonably well. So, yeah, this one's appealing to me as Diogo Costa card. Yeah, like I say, I think with these goalies, they're very, very similar in overall ability. And it might just be league challenges, and the fact that there's no league challenge you can use Diogo Costa in, it's a bit of a shame. But the one thing he does have over Livaković and Pickford is that his arms are slightly longer. So yeah, just little things really that might sway you between these goalies. I'd love to say this is the best one, this is the worst one, this is the guy you should pick. But honestly, it's just really, I think the league challenges, or maybe if you're really, really bothered about the arm coverage, you might decide to plump for this guy over Pickford and Livaković. But this is just another good, solid goalie, and he's got that slightly better distribution as well. So yeah, slightly longer arms, slightly better distribution. I think in terms of overall ability, I would be inclined to lean towards Diogo Costa just about. He's another good goalie there. The catching is an issue. It's a bit of a shame that's quite low at 83, but like I say, it's more important you can get behind the shots in the first place and make those saves, because there's no point in being able to catch the ball and hold on to it if you're not going to reach it in the first place. But yeah, strong goalie attributes on the whole. It's another good goalie card. They're all pretty similar on the whole, really. So yeah, I think honestly the league challenge might be what will sway a lot of people, maybe the majority of people. Pickford, you can use the English League Challenge. Livaković, you can use the Turkish League Challenge. Diogo Costa, you can't use in any League Challenge, but his arms are slightly longer than these first two, and he's got slightly better distribution. And then it's Maarten Paes fella, not quite as good as the rest, but still solid. I imagine it'll probably just be the Indonesian fans who go for this guy. But yeah, all of them got the direct in defense skill, and there's not a lot to sway you each way. It just depends what's important to you. For me personally, I don't want to sign a Malcolm, and I don't get the Turkish League Challenge anymore, so it's an obvious one for me because I didn't get the Player of the Week version of him. I'll get Diogo Costa, but whether you get the Turkish League Challenge, whether you've already got the Player of the Week version of Diogo Costa, whether you've already got the Showtime Livaković, of course. It depends what's going to sway you. I think a lot of people are going to probably go for Pickford because of the English League Challenge, but there's not a lot of difference in overall ability, in all honesty. Just for me, like I say, that slightly longer arms and slightly better distribution on Diogo Costa, but in terms of the core goalkeeper attributes, there's not a massive difference between these main three, and even Maarten Paes isn't far off it, really. So you got 4 solid keepers. And I think it's another cool little campaign they're doing. You know, we've only just had the free legend campaign with at least 1 free legend. Most of us didn't get any extra ones, but some of us got an extra one, maybe even 3 in total. I hope this kind of thing, you know, keeps on happening. Selection contracts especially, not just giving us free cards, but the selection contracts where we can actually get to choose the ones that we want. I think it's fantastic. Hopefully we get more of that. And yeah, there you go. There's your 4 goalies. It'd be interesting to know who you guys are going to pick. If you think there's a major difference between any of these goalies, do let me know what you think. I'll be interested to hear you guys' thoughts. Like I say, for me personally, I'm just about going to edge towards Diogo Costa, I think, but I think all these guys are going to prove popular with certain people depending on what your preferences are and what sways you. But yeah, there you go. Hopefully you found it useful. Hopefully it's helped you to make your decision. Albeit doesn't look like we're going to be able to make our decision until next Thursday. But there you go. Cheers for watching. I'm going to review the the other pack, what's it called, national teams. This one may get a few selection contracts. I'll review that one in a separate video. I'll do that one hopefully over the weekend. I'll get it done as soon as I can, and there'll be 1 or 2 streams over the next few days as well. So hopefully I'll catch you guys for one of the streams or for one of the next videos. Cheers for watching again. Do really appreciate it. Have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you soon.